Hello everyone and welcome to our channel. My name is Janessa Storley. I am the owner of Frontier Designs, and here at Frontier Designs you are going to learn all things real estate. We're going to be talking about real estate investing, interior design, and just real estate in general. If you want to learn how to buy a house or things to know when you go to sell a house, I mean, just everything in general we're gonna cover here at Frontier Designs. I am a house flipper, and today actually I wanted to talk about what it is that house flippers do. Surprisingly, I get this question a lot, and so today I kind of wanted to cover the basics of house flipping and just shed some knowledge on the world that I live in. So if you're interested in learning about what house flippers do, then keep on watching. All right, you guys, so today we are going to cover what it is that I do for a living. Surprisingly, I get this question a lot. Ever since HGTV and how publicized house flipping has been, I've always been kind of curious as to why people still don't quite understand what all goes into the process of house flipping, and honestly what goes on TV is way different than reality. So today I just kind of wanted to cover what it is that us house flippers do, and if you're ever interested in getting into being a house flipper, just some different tidbits of information that you'll need to do some research on before you dive in. So what house flippers do is we essentially take houses on the market that need some work done to them. There might be some repairs that need done, whether it be a roof, an updated kitchen, updated bathroom, those kind of things, and we transform them into beautiful spaces. There's a couple avenues that we do this in. Technically, an ideal house flip would be to buy a house that might need like $30,000 to $50,000 worth of work. Maybe it just needs an updated kitchen and an updated bathroom and those different kind of things. When it comes to structural or plumbing and electrical, in those kind of situations, a lot of house flippers kind of stray away because they know the amount of work that will add up, and they know that the extent of the job. The other avenue is actually the avenue that I prefer, which is a full gut remodel. These are a lot more fun projects. They are a lot more daunting. They are a lot more time consuming, but to be realistic with you guys, finding those properties that need $30,000 to $50,000 of work in a lot of markets it's actually kind of near to impossible these days with the rising prices of homes. I mean, the prices of homes in a lot of different markets just keep on going up and up and up. And I know in 2020 we're expecting another rise when it comes to the prices of homes. So finding those that need minimal work is very difficult because people know that they can still sell their house as is, and still get a good return on it. So in my market especially, what I have to do is I have to seek out those houses that need a full remodel. And I actually prefer that. It really helps out the community. It helps out where I live. And yes, it might be more time consuming and there's a lot more risk involved, but the more risk there is, to me, the more reward you get out of it, whether it be for yourself and your own personal growth, or just for the community and for those new home buyers. I mean, it's just kind of like a trickle effect. So I love taking on very big, large, extensive projects. And so within this channel, that's mainly what you'll see. Trying to find a house that needs very little work in my market is honestly next to impossible. So you'll see a lot of houses that need everything gutted. We'll probably just keep the exterior walls and we'll build something beautiful out of it. So that kind of covers what house flippers do and two different avenues that house flippers can take. Now, I would really like to dive into 5 different topics and kind of industries that house flippers need to understand. So if you're ever looking to become a house flipper, here is some stuff you should probably start researching prior to, finding that first property. So the first tidbit of information that you'll need to understand is understanding your real estate market. Every real estate market everywhere, is different. It is incredible how things change even within like 100 miles. So keep in mind that you need to really understand your real estate market. If houses are selling for $300,000 on average in your location, but you buy a house for $250,000, even then you're still not going to make a lot of profit off of that property. So you really have to understand what is a good value for the houses that I'm going to be buying. Set that threshold and don't go over it. Obviously, about every 6 months, reanalyze that number because markets do change, but look at the trends, understand your real estate market, and understand what number you have to come in at to get a good return on your investment. Number 2 of what house flippers need to understand. You guys, you need to understand what buyers are looking for. To be honest with you, there are a lot of houses on the market that might be 2-1s or 1-1s or smaller properties, and I do see house flippers purchasing them, but again, you have to look at your market. I can see those properties selling quickly in a resort town or on, in Hawaii, on the coast somewhere. Those kind of properties do sell fast, the 2-1s and the 1-1s, because they are great condos and great smaller properties. But in a lot of markets, especially a lot of rural markets, a lot of people are looking for 3-2s. The reason why I say that is because that market, once you get to that 3-bedroom, 2-bath, that hits a lot of boxes for a lot of people. And the reason why I say that is because, with a 3-2, that could potentially reach out to a young couple who is wanting to purchase their first home and start a family. That could be a family that already has children and they want to move into a space that is a lot more spacious for them. And so that's always something to look at and to analyze. You don't want to completely niche down and only focus on smaller groups. You really want to focus in on a broad spectrum of people who are going to buy your house. And the majority of them are going to be searching for a 3-bedroom, 2-bath home at the minimum. And within that too, on what home buyers are looking for, yes, the bedrooms and the bathrooms, but they're also looking for functionality. They really want to make sure that this space can function for their family. If you walk into a house and the kitchen is all the way into the back, but you have to go through a bathroom and a bedroom and a weird flex space and an office and everything just to get to the kitchen, nobody's really going to want to buy that space. And so, that might be something that you have to consider to reconfigure that space to make it actually useful for today's market. And just understanding the finishes too, understanding what the aesthetics is that a lot of home buyers are looking for, the white cabinets, the dark hardwood floors, the marble or quartz countertops, those different kind of fixtures and aesthetic is what a lot of home buyers are looking for in today's standards. It's not very difficult to do your research when it comes to interior design. Just look on HGTV, look on Pinterest, and just see what's popular these days. A lot of designers are matching the aesthetic to a very broad spectrum, and that's exactly what you need to do when you're flipping houses. You need to match the property to a very broad spectrum, not just to your specific taste. So, number 2, you need to understand what buyers are looking for. Number 3 kind of ties into number 1. It is how to locate properties. You will have to understand where you're going to find your properties. Now there's many different ways that you can do this. I'm gonna deep dive in on this information in a later video, but here are just a few examples. You can get with a real estate agent and ask them to search the MLS for you and your criteria. You can do that same search on Realtor.com and Zillow. The only caution that I have is a lot of the times that information is outdated. And so you really have to be careful on those platforms because a lot of the times they are not going to be the most up to date. So those are the only 2 things that I would caution about Zillow and Realtor.com. Another great way to search for properties is through a wholesaler. What wholesalers do is they find properties that are completely off market and they ask these homeowners if they're willing to sign or to sell their home. So that's another way that you can do it. You can also do the same work as a wholesaler. And then of course there's auction sites. You can go to a county auction or you can just go to sites like auction.com and a few other places and you can purchase homes off of those sites as well. So number 3, you're gonna have to know how to locate those properties. Because if you don't, you can't just sit here waiting for some magical property to come along the way. You have to do the research and you have to find the right one. Number 4 on the list is funding. You're gonna have to know how you're going to fund these properties. And honestly, this should probably be step number 1. You should get with a banker, you should talk to private money lending, you should maybe get a partner. The sky is the limit when it comes to funding. Nothing is impossible. So just know that you need to set up those relations before purchasing your first property. So funding is very, very important. And again, I'll dive into that in a future video. But right now, I just kind of wanted to mention that it is so important with house flipping. Step number 5, or industry number 5, I should say, is minor construction. Now, on all of these topics, you do not have to be a professional, but you still have to be aware. And when it comes to construction, you really have to be aware on if something looks right or wrong, and you have to ask the questions. You have to learn as you go, especially when you're talking to your contractors. I find it so important that you have open communication with your contractors. And if something looks a little bit off, or you might see a tile that's crooked or something to that, you have to be the one to say, this is not okay with me. These are my standards and this is what I would like to see within this property. But you have to do it out of kindness, not as I know better than you. So with contractors, you have to establish that relationship way beforehand, and you have to come from a place of wanting to learn and gain knowledge from these guys. If you've done your work to pick the right contractor, then they will forever be your asset. So make sure that you treat them that way. Treat them like people and treat them with kindness and wanting to learn. They are experts in their industry. You have not had the years of experience as these people are. So whenever something might go wrong or you might be concerned about something, just be open and honest with them. And I guarantee you that they're going to explain the reason why they're doing the things that they're doing, or if something did go wrong and how they're correcting it. So you need to understand minor construction. Always educate yourself along the way. There's plenty of YouTube videos and plenty of books out there that you can read to educate yourself in what you're looking for when it comes to construction. But just be aware that the best tool is just speaking with your contractor and having open communication with them. So there you have it, you guys. That is the 5 industries, topics, whatever you guys want to call it, that house flippers need to know. They're very important. I know it covers a lot. Again, you do not need to be an expert in all of these industries. You just have to be aware. So I do hope that you enjoyed learning today about what house flippers do, a couple avenues that they can take when it comes to choosing what kind of house flip that they want to do, and also 5 topics or industries that house flippers need to know in order to get their job done right. If you enjoyed this video, please be sure to give it a big thumbs up. Also, don't forget to hit that subscribe button before you leave. And I will see all of you guys in the next video. Bye!